Hello and welcome to my factory tour and missile launch video for my Spaceblock factory. I'm Icon, and this video will introduce the factory that I built for this project, and at the end of it we're going to launch that missile with a satellite in it and be happy about that. Spaceblock is a very vanilla-like mod, and it really only adds various methods of resource generation. The rest of the kit in this factory was entirely vanilla. And resources in this mod get duplicated by either assemblers or furnaces, space matter furnaces. So this has brought me to a setup where I didn't use any main bus situation. There was only one bus-like situation where I created a couple of experimental smelters here, where I practiced some designs, which created a really low efficiency supply for my mini mall, where I created all the different things that I needed for this run, from belts to inserters and so on. Nothing too special. My personal favorite was the oil cracking thing here, where I actually managed to get a stabilized thing together by only using one pump and one red wire. So this thing really runs stable and produces electric motors and lubricant and all the stuff we need for that little factory. And beyond that, we power this wonderful little monstrosity here with a meager amount of 180 megawatt, entirely steam. Steam power is pretty easily set up. We have 20 boilers with 40 steam engines here, and every single of these batteries provides the coal for one of these sets. A very easy and multiplicable setup that I really enjoyed a lot. And I did actually manufacture solar panels in a large scale, but in the end I didn't even use them because the power was actually never a big issue. Over here there's my laboratory array. Nothing too special. And below the laboratory array, there's the entire factory for the science packs. The really amusing part about this whole adventure here was that every single block of this factory has its own resource production array. That means this factory is completely self-sufficient, if you want to say so. Every part produces the necessary materials for itself. The military tech production produces the necessary resources on the spot, and that was true for every single of these science packs. And what was a really fun experience to play around with these replication technology. In the end, my late game or my final setup was looking like something like that, where I simply had the replicators up here being belt fed with coal and spitting out their materials onto steel furnaces here, where we unified that into one stream. This was basically the setup that I used for the entire factory from that point on, in different variations of course, but this was overall a very useful and powerful setup. The only thing that I noticed in the end was it was a very wise choice always to add in 2 more space matter furnaces than the actual array needed to make sure the procedure never runs dry, because with all these duplication procedures, it was a wise choice to always overproduce a bit. Now, with all these science things done, at some point I finished the yellow science a while ago, and I realized that for the missile start I'd need the rocket control units made out of blue circuits that I had on site here. I needed low density structures, which I also produced here on the site already, and that brought me up to the idea that I just wired these up. I brought the blue modules from my home facility here. The blue modules are stolen from, where was it again? Here. Are stolen from my tier 3 assembler production. I figured that would be enough. And as it was not enough, I started to steal the materials from my other science pack factory and flung a little and strung a couple more of that into that. In the end, I also created a little bit of a oil factory for the rocket fuel. Here again, I managed all the pressure just with one pump and the red wire, just telling it that it only is allowed to produce solid fuel out of that once the light oil has reached a threshold of 5,000. Really easy stuff, but I learned a lot in this run about fluid management because vanilla doesn't have any option for me to torch away unwanted fluids, so I finally had to learn proper fluid management. I always ducked out of that, but this run actually taught me how to do these really simple connecting string connections here. That was a very, very good experience for me because I learned how to manage the fluid management without torching away excess fluids. That was really cool. But beyond that, this was a very, very cool and chill run. It's like Holiday from C-Block, but in the end, I was very, very happy to finish that, and now let's get that rocket started. It was a very, very nice trip here, and I enjoyed it totally, but in the end, vanilla has been now completed for me. I never ever have finished vanilla in this game, and I consider that as my first vanilla victory. I found that very important. I mean, I had a lot of progress already in C-Block and space exploration and Crestorio, and as a matter of fact, in space exploration, I'm already way past this missile launch thing, but somehow I feel as if I felt incomplete without having done that. So yeah, that was my Spaceblock factory. So I have added the playlist for the entire series in the link in the description box below. So if you want to check out how this whole factory came together, be my guest. I'd be delighted. Another thing that I'd really love to know, what kind of project in Factorio terms you would like to see on my channel next. So feel free to drop that into the comments. Have a nice time. Leave a thumbs up on that one if you enjoyed, and of course consider subscribing. Daily content coming up there from my side. See you guys next time. Bye bye.